Alright, nice little start to the day. Where am I? On the banks of the Mississippi River. In the neighborhood. I am inside the flood wall. Apparently this is the flood wall. Here's the Mississippi River. Pretty sure I'm getting all this right. I don't know, I was told there was a levee somewhere nearby. I don't exactly know what that looks like. Pretty sure this is the flood wall. Alright, it's getting windy now, so yeah, just probably gonna give you 3 scenes today. Here, I'm gonna check out Tulane campus, check out the football field among other things, and then play more poker. But want to be in bed fairly early. It's early now. It's not even 8 o'clock. I don't think so. Tomorrow I have the longest drive of the entire month, so I want to be asleep early, be fully rested, be up early, and get to my next city before it's too late in the evening. It is a city that has poker, so if I'm not too tired, I will be playing poker tomorrow. Yeah, I have a good question someone asked. I'm going to answer somewhere on Tulane's campus, hopefully if there's some shade and not that much wind. The wind has died down, and yeah, that's about it. Just wanted to come down here to the edge of the neighborhood. I mean, I've seen the Mississippi River, usually driving, so wanted to see it without having to operate a motor vehicle while I'm doing it. And I'm gonna head to Tulane, which is only like, I don't know, 5 to 10 miles west of here. It's only like a mile or 2 west of the casino. I was there yesterday, and that's about it. I'll see everyone on campus at Tulane. Looks like water and mud are like just bubbling out of the ground over there. Maintenance just rolled up and they're like scared to look at it. I don't know what's happening. It's just like right off the sidewalk. There's like a little wet area under this tree and it's just like bubbling and smoking. Okay, enjoying my time touring Tulane campus. Between the law building and the Navy building over there, there's actually some pull-up bars. I'm gonna see if I can do a couple pull-ups after this. Thought I'd answer a good question someone asked. Can I be nomadic the way I have been without a car? The very short answer is yeah. I don't know if I ever will. I understand what it would take though. So I know someone who's been doing it for a long time. Also know someone who did it for years but then got a car. It's more convenient with a car. Forget about money. If you're just talking about convenience, of course it's more convenient with a car. The only inconvenient things are like going from state to state. It takes a while. There are some long drives. A flight is quicker, but I think driving is just way more convenient. You start driving. There's not like airport security and things like that. You don't need to book plane tickets, things like that. So it's very convenient with it. How would it change without the car? There would be longer stops. I wouldn't really take weekend trips so much. I wouldn't be like driving to California because I either can't or I need to rent a car for the weekend. You'd also, so you'd save money by not having a car, but then it would cost you money, the things you need to do to make up for it. So in Vegas, you would either be like, you would have very long stays on the strip. For one, there's a limit. You can't be a tenant in a casino hotel. You could be a guest, and there's a limit on the number of days in a row you could be in the same room. So there are some ways around it, kind of, but you would be either on the strip for a long time, which means paying expensive weekend rates, definitely. Sometimes even if there's a convention in town, all week is expensive. Or you would be like trying to stay at Meridian, which is a large apartment complex, condos, apartments, behind Harrah's. You would be looking for someone who owns one of those apartments but is renting it out, not owning it to live there, owning it to rent it out, and trying to work out like a 3-month deal, like I guess officially like a sublease for 3 months. So you'd be doing stuff like that. Also in other cities, you would be picking your cities based on how you could get to the casino. Like Council Bluffs has a few Airbnbs that are pretty close. It's on like the outskirts of walking distance, so you'd either be using rideshare a lot, which I never use it, so I don't know what the prices are like. If that's too expensive, maybe get like an Airbnb not far from Council Bluffs for like 3 months, and once you get there, like buy a bike. Actually, someone asked me, I think Eric the Nomad asked me about bus routes. Never seen a city bus in Council Bluffs. I don't know what the public transportation's like. So yeah, something like that. You would need to be finding lodging very close, because it's not going to make sense often to live in the casino. The place I know of that makes the most sense is Vegas, and even with that, like I said, expensive weekends. So you could do it. Yeah, there's just going to be a lot of rideshare involved, or you're going to be like moving a lot. Like in Atlantic City, you can move a lot. I actually haven't played there a lot recently, but back in like 2019, you play 4 hours in a day, you can get a free room at Harrah's Sunday through Thursday. The thing is, they don't love when you try to book it in advance. The point of that is, like, if someone's in the building playing and played enough of the day, 4 hours, they're willing to give you a room to like keep you in the building all night. It's not really like, all right, let me play 4 hours Sunday, let me clock out after 4 hours and 1 minute, and then ask for a room 3 days later, Wednesday night. They do it, they don't love doing that for you, but they do it, but it's like a hassle, and they like dislike it while you're asking the floor people to do it. But you could do that. Borgata used to, if you just played enough at Borgata, which wasn't much, but if you like played a ton in like 3 days, you would get offers for a while, so you could pull it off there. Still, there's occasionally expensive weekends, and you need like rideshare to take you to a motel down in what's the name of that city? It's like 5-10 miles outside AC. Brigantine is where the Wawa is. Abernathy? Abingale? Something like that. But anyway, you would need a ride share to take you there for like 2 nights. So there's a lot of moving in Atlantic City, also some ride share. You could do it. So I don't know what the money would be like ultimately. You wouldn't have a car. Great, you save a lot of money in that regard. But then you're paying for flights, and you're paying for a lot of rideshare, and you're like rarely getting nights comped. You might not even be dealing with casino hotels at all. Like when you go to Vegas, it might be like all Meridian or all Airbnb. Renting a car isn't a bad option occasionally. I actually, I know this could be a possibility. There could be a time where like I'm not in Vegas much of the year, or really at all, but still want to deal Orleans. I might fly from wherever I am to Vegas just for 2 months to deal Orleans, and in that case I would get an Airbnb near Orleans and I would rent a car. So even if you don't own a car, you could rent it occasionally if the city is like, you could find good lodging at a good price. It's a little far, probably makes more sense to like rent a car for like 1 to 3 months than constantly taking rideshare. Also, rideshare is just inconvenient. Like you're waiting on the guy, you can't just make like spur of the moment decisions and like go somewhere else. So you could do that. Ultimately, yes, it's possible. There are people doing it. I'm aware of what it would take to do it. I don't know if I will ever do it. So I'm going to keep exploring Tulane a little bit more. Paid for 5 hours in the parking garage, so I'm going to use a lot of it, and then going to play at Orleans. In New Orleans at Caesars. I'm just so used to thinking about the Orleans, and I was just talking about it. Caesars, New Orleans is where I'm going to be playing poker later. Poker room behind me. I just played 3 hours, just cashed out, heading back. Something I just learned I didn't know was happening while I was playing yesterday. A couple of things I want to tell you. Get out of here before someone sees that I'm filming and doesn't like it, and I'll tell you in the parking garage. Alright, I'm on this island in the middle of the road for you guys. This building behind me is Harrah's the hotel. That's where you would go to sleep if you were staying in the hotel. That building is the garage. Behind the camera is the casino. There's the casino. The thing is, if you're in the building that has the garage, you're inside, you take an escalator down, and you walk under this street, and you get into the casino without having to cross through traffic. Anyway, wanted to say that I didn't know yesterday you could straddle from any position. I don't know about the blinds, but any other position. We only had button straddles. I always just assume there's an under the gun straddle. We only had button straddles on my table last night, so I thought it was just under the gun and button. Today we had some straddles from weird positions that I haven't seen since playing at Planet Hollywood back in the day, where you could straddle from anywhere. So yeah, the amount is only 6. but you could straddle from anywhere. Not sure about the blinds. And no matter where you straddle from, action starts, you know, one player clockwise. It's not like in Vegas where button straddle, you skip the blinds, and then depending on whether there's a raise or not, the button might or might not act in turn. Wherever the straddle is, you start one player clockwise and just go in order. So that's interesting. And yeah, I really liked it. Since I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, I'm going to say some other things about playing poker here in New Orleans tomorrow. Tomorrow's a very long drive. I do want to play in the city I wind up in tomorrow. I will have time. I'm just going to be exhausted. So I don't know if I will. So I want to save some topics to talk about to the camera while I stop for gas every like 3-4 hours on the drive tomorrow. So I'm just gonna head back to the Airbnb, and that's gonna be it for my final full day, actually my only full calendar day in New Orleans. Here it is. Enjoyed watching, looking at the Mississippi River, enjoyed being on Tulane campus, and enjoyed playing poker, and tomorrow I head elsewhere. From the Special Collections Gallery in Howard Tilton Memorial Library on Tulane campus in New Orleans, Louisiana. Remember, rice is a spoon food. Gotta be quiet. It's a library.